at when the court would pierce this corporate veil. When will the courts lift up this veil to see who exactly is behind this corporation? The first thing we want to note is that the courts are very wary to do this. The courts will normally not inquire further than the face of incorporation of the corporation. That's the face of the owner, the registered agent, the registered place of business and assets, and whatever is on the incorporation documents of the corporation, of the entity. The court will want to take that information and use it when holding the corporation liable for things like, say, in a suit, or when the corporation is liable to pay fines. But the corporation will not hold specific individuals or specific employees in their personal capacity liable for whatever the corporation may be responsible for, which is what we covered previously, the corporate veil. However, in some instances, the courts will be forced to pierce this corporate veil to hold specific individuals or employees behind the corporation responsible. And this usually happens when the law has been broken, when there is fraud, when there is maybe the corporation is a sham corporation, or when there is undercapitalization, right? So the purpose of piercing the corporate veil is to prevent the corporations from acting illegally, or from hiding under the corporate veil to perform illegal acts or unlawful acts, right? I will look at some cases. There is Berkeley versus Third Avenue Railway. In this case, it's a case in New York City where the court was considering holding a subsidiary of the parent company liable for the debts of the was considering holding the parent company of a subsidiary liable for the debts of that subsidiary. However, in New York laws at the time, a corporation, when a corporation had to seek uh, written permission from the Railway Commission to issue a franchise, right? And I'm trying to keep this very surface level, which the parent company had not done. So the court could not hold the parent company responsible for the actions or the debt of the subsidiary, because the parent company had not done everything required by law to be deemed to be the parent company, right? So you see how, yeah. So there's also another case, Wakolski versus Carlton. This was a case of a cab driver. He registered several companies and left minimal assets under those companies. Minimal. He allowed those companies to own minimal cabs, right, to reduce his liability in the event of a suit. And he was sued, and the court upheld his corporate veil. The court refused to pierce the corporate veil to hold him or the other companies liable for the debts of one of the companies, which is kind of a tricky case. You would think the court would side with the innocent party and hold the cab company liable for the debts of one of those companies, but the court didn't. Again, it's good to note that the courts will rarely pierce the corporate veil. The rule is that the corporate veil will be held, right? It will be respected, it will be upheld, and it will not be pierced. Under very few circumstances will the court pierce the corporate veil, like in Kinishu Corporation versus Poland. In this case, it was an undercapitalization case, and in that case, the court did pierce the corporate veil. Other cases that you can look up is United States versus Best Foods. All of these cases usually involve individuals registering several businesses, or parent companies trying to escape liability for the debts or otherwise of their subsidiaries. Like in United States versus Best Food, it was a subsidiary defaulting on the lease that the parent company was going to be held responsible for. And in that case, the court kind of looked at, does the parent company have its own a controlling mind? Are they the alter ego of the subsidiary? The court will want to establish a link, right, before the veil is pierced, either to see, okay, this individual or this other entity outside of the incorporated entity that is the subject of whatever suit, right? This other individual or entity can be deemed to be legally and reasonably deemed to be the controlling mind or the alter ego of that subsidiary. So I want to give you like this is to give you like a kind of idea or a strong legal background for the reasoning behind artificial personhood, the corporate veil, and piercing the corporate veil.